Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to talk about the Thursday night matchup tomorrow between the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets. Mike White is coming off an historical performance in his first ever NFL start, throwing for 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We all know what Mike White did. So what is he going to have for an encore for us on primetime football? So in this video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts of what to expect when it comes to Mike White going into his second career start in the NFL, what the Jets defense needs to do, and what Mike LaFleur needs to do as well after he had a very good performance in his first time actually looking like a really good offensive coordinator. So before I hop into the video, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. And if you want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at NYJets_media. And if you enjoy the video, please do not forget to thumbs it up. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So first and foremost, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. They are 3-5. They're a pesky team. You know, Carson Wentz, he's having a pretty good season. The Colts, I think, started 0-3, and then they got hot recently. They're coming off a very heartbreaking loss to the Tennessee Titans in overtime. Carson Wentz had 2 crucial interceptions. One of them was like one of the worst interceptions I've seen when he threw it in his own end zone with his left hand, and then it was a pick 6. And then he threw another bad interception in overtime, which eventually led to the Titans getting the victory. But the Indianapolis Colts, they're a good football team. Even though they're 3-5, I'm still not looking at the Colts thinking that like we should just think that this is a guaranteed W. And I don't think any Jets fans think it's a guaranteed W at all. But at the same time, this is definitely a winnable game because the New York Jets, the 2 victories that we do have came against 2 playoff teams, the Tennessee Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals, which is pretty remarkable from the New York Jets. But what the Indianapolis Colts are really good at, Carson Wentz and Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, and they got offensive weapons, and they also have a decent offensive line as well. So the Jets defense has to be on their A game, making sure they can contain Jonathan Taylor, not only out of the backfield, but make sure that they do not get hit with the screen passes, because Jonathan Taylor is a guy that can take it 80 yards to the house, and we have to make sure that we're ready for that defensively. And when it comes to the Colts defense, they got a really good linebacker in Darius Leonard, and I feel like the Jets need to be aware of that, because the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to be able to look at film and understand what Mike White just did, because the Cincinnati Bengals had no film of Mike White, so they did not know what to expect. But the Colts, they have an entire game to look at, and they're going to exploit the offense that the Jets tried to do against the Bengals. So we have to make sure we look out for Darius Leonard, because I feel like he's going to be someone that's going to try to disrupt those checkdowns and those under routes and the screen passes that we got away with against the Bengals, and the Colts definitely have a decent defense. So moving on from the Colts, let's get into the Jets game plan and what I want to see. So starting off with the offensive side of the ball, I would love for the Jets to continue the same exact game plan that they had against the Bengals. Throw the ball early. Because the first drive of the game against the Bengals, the Jets had 10 plays. It was a scoring drive. They scored a touchdown, and they passed on 8 out of the 10 plays. That's ridiculous. That's something that the Jets have not done all season long. Mike LaFleur wanted to switch it up with Mike White out there because he thought that the Bengals are going to expect them to run and ease Mike White into the game since it's his first NFL start, but they did the exact opposite, and it worked in the Jets' favor. I love that Michael Carter and Ty Johnson are becoming really good focal points of this offense, and I want that to continue, but I also want to establish a run game as well. I feel like this offensive line has been doing a very good job every single week. We're going to have to look out for George Fant's availability. He's still dealing with an ankle injury and not been practicing this week, so it's going to be interesting to see if he suits up, but it's not looking too good so far. So True Madoga is going to have to slide in and start at left tackle for this game, which is pretty, I'm not really confident in True Madoga, but he definitely looked serviceable when he came in for George Fant against the Bengals. But when it comes to the playmakers around Mike White, I'm looking for a big game from Elijah Moore in this one. I feel like he had his best game of his Jets career so far. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 67 yards. I feel like he's an explosive play waiting to happen. I really hope that Mike LaFleur continues to make sure that we get Elijah Moore the ball in his hands, because if we get him the ball in his hands in space, he's somebody that can make people miss in the open field with ease. That's something that I've been preaching about Michael Carter all season long. We got to make sure we get Michael Carter the ball in space, and that's exactly what they did against the Bengals. And what did Michael Carter do? He goes out there and has 172 total yards with 9 receptions and a touchdown, having an insane day. I think the Jets need to make sure they get Elijah Moore involved, similarly to that they did with Michael Carter. Obviously, they played 2 different positions, but so far, Elijah Moore has had a slow start to his career with the New York Jets. He's coming off a very good performance against the Bengals. Hopefully that can be replicated and maybe he can get in the end zone. Another guy to look out for injury-wise is Corey Davis. He's still battling a hip injury, and he has not been practicing so far this week. So that's going to give Denzel Mims another opportunity to shine. Denzel Mims looks pretty good so far yesterday when he got his first opportunity to start with the replacement of Corey Davis. Obviously, Denzel Mims dropped that open touchdown, but outside of that, I love his effort in the run game. He's a very good pass run blocker at the wide receiver position. I feel like the Jets are going to get Denzel Mims involved. We knew that the Jets were, people were calling the Jets about Denzel Mims at the trade deadline, and the Jets were saying, no, we believe in Denzel Mims' future. Joe Douglas just talked to the media yesterday, and he said that Denzel Mims has earned his right to play, and he's going to get more playing time as the season goes on. So hopefully Denzel Mims can have a breakout party, because I feel like primetime football is a really good opportunity for Denzel Mims for sure. So when it comes to Mike White, the Mike White encore, what can we expect from this? Because I'm not expecting 405 yards, to be honest. I'm expecting 550 yards from Mike White. I'm joking, guys, obviously. But Mike White is going into his second career start. And I know some people are like, oh, the Jets have a quarterback controversy. No, the Jets do not have a quarterback controversy until Mike White does what he did against the Bengals again and again and again. And not saying he has to go over 400 yards, but Zach Wilson is still the future of this team. And it's not a bad thing that we have a guy, Mike White, coming off the bench and playing this well. That means that we potentially have our long-term backup. Because going into the season, if you guys remember, we were not confident in the Jets quarterback room outside of Zach Wilson. We're like, okay, Mike White's our backup. Before James Morgan got cut, we're like, James Morgan, we know that was a terrible pick. We don't have a veteran quarterback. What's going to happen if Zach goes down? But now here we are. Mike White gets his first opportunity to play, and we saw what he did. So now he has an opportunity on Thursday Night Football to really solidify himself as a good quarterback, and the Jets are going to have a good problem on their hands if Mike White does go out there and beat the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing I want to see from Mike White is stretch the field a little bit. I feel like, even though he had a 405 yards, he had 37 completions, which is the most for any quarterback in NFL history in their first NFL start, which is pretty insane. I do want to see him stretch the field a little bit. Let's see if Mike White has the ability to throw it 15, 25 yards down the field, because he was checking the ball down a lot, there's nothing wrong with that. Mike White played within the system. He took what was there, and that's what really moved the chains. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but the Jets had at least like 15, 20 first downs in total in that entire game. It's because Mike White took the underneath routes, and he trusted his playmakers to make moves. Michael Carter kept picking up the first downs. Ty Johnson, Jamison Crowder. There's a lot of guys that were getting open in underneath routes, but can Mike White stretch the field? If Elijah Moore gets open 30 yards down the field, does Mike White have the ability to go out there and get a really good accurate pass and get it in Elijah Moore's hands? Does he have zip? Does he have deep throw accuracy? Because I feel like Mike White, in his first start, he was literally perfect when it comes to short throw accuracy. His poise in the pocket was great. His footwork, avoiding pressure in his face. We even saw him being a little mobile, rolling to his right, rolling to his left, throwing on the run. He showed really good accuracy and really good poise. But the one thing I want to see from Mike White is does he have the ability to stretch the field? I feel like if he does do that, that's going to help out this offense a ton, because we know that Zach Wilson, his strength so far as a rookie is he can throw the ball so far down the field. He's a deep throw accuracy animal. His issue so far this season in Zach Wilson has been the short throws. Mike White's kind of the opposite. The one throw that Mike White threw that was really deep down the field against the Bengals, he overshot Elijah Moore by 10 yards. Elijah Moore would have had a walk-in touchdown if Mike White hit him, but the play would not even matter because Connor McGovern got called for a holding penalty, so the touchdown would not have counted if Mike White did complete it to Elijah Moore. But what I'm trying to say is, can Mike White stretch the field? Because the one thing I'm concerned about is the Colts looking at the film, understanding that if we take away the short routes, we take away the checkdowns, we take away the screen passes, and force Mike White to beat us with his arm down the field, is he going to be able to do that? That's my biggest concern when it comes to Mike White. It's not really a concern, it's just a big unknown, because he's coming off an historical performance. 400 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and a win. You can't ask for more from Mike White. I cannot wait to see what he has for an encore. I'm super excited. Mike White's season is here, and I love every single second about it. No, I did not give up on Zach Wilson by any means necessary. I still think he's the future of this franchise. But for right now, I'm living on the Mike White hype train, as every single Jets fan should. And let's go out there on Thursday night and win this damn football game. It's a winnable game. It's not going to be easy. The Indianapolis Colts are a pesky good football team. Even though they're 3-5, they are a good team, especially that we're on the road on Thursday Night Football on a short week. Now, when it comes to the Jets defense, really quick, what I want to see the most is C.J. Mosley and Jared Davis continue their good play at the linebacker spot. We finally got to see those two starting linebackers play for the first time all season against the Bengals, and they look really darn good. And the defensive line, hopefully we can really get pressure on Carson Wentz, because he's a quarterback that if you can get interior pressure on him, he tends to make a lot of bad decisions. And our secondary, the cornerbacks, have been the revelation of this entire season for the Jets. Bryce Hall had a really good performance against Jamar Chase, as well did Brandon Echols. Now they have another young ascending star wide receiver that they have to match up against in Michael Pittman Jr. So if they can go up against Michael Pittman Jr. and do what they did to Jamar Chase, this cornerback room is way better than we can ever expect, because they have been looking so good all season long. So that's my thoughts about this Jets-Colts game tomorrow night. Please leave a comment down below your thoughts. Do you think the Jets can get this victory? What do you think they need to do in order to get this victory? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments, so please do not forget to do that and like the video if you guys enjoy. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let's go Jets. Peace.